Hi students, now let's continue with food intoxications. Previously we talked about E. coli as well as Staphylococcus aureus, and now we're going to talk about the gram-positive rod bacterial intoxications. And mainly three main bacterial gram-positive rods are responsible for bacterial intoxications, such as Clostridium botulinum, Clostridium perfringens, as well as Bacillus cereus. In the case of Clostridium botulinum, we can see that they are mainly responsible for a disease called the botulism, and it is mainly caused due to the presence of enterotoxins, mainly including the toxins which are being produced by Clostridium botulinum. And this toxin production usually happens at a range between 25 to 30 degrees centigrade, and these are one of the lethest poisons which are being known. And since we're talking about Clostridium botulinum, we need to know something that strict anaerobic conditions are needed for the growth of Clostridium. And even when strict anaerobic conditions are there, if the meat which is being stored in a canned product or any other product, if they are in strict anaerobic conditions and if they are being spoiled, sometimes in such cases Clostridium botulinum could grow. And when they grow, that would result in and even the microbe won't be dead, but the formation of toxins could happen, and that would lead to an intoxication. So the other species of Clostridium, which is mainly responsible for food poisoning or a food intoxication, is Clostridium perfringens, and it can lead to gastroenteritis. And what happens is, it is not a single toxin over here. In the case of Clostridium perfringens, different toxins can act. Enterotoxin will be there, and what happens? A different range of toxins have been formed by this pathogen. And normally this mainly happens when the food has been maintained in a danger zone. Okay, now what is the danger zone? The danger zone is the zone where the microbial growth would be rapid. It could be a temperature, okay, it could be a temperature or a time abuse which is responsible for this. And usually it has been found that when we make stews as well as chilies, if to limit the growth, if they are not being kept in a proper temperature during cooking, and after cooking, if they are being left over for a longer period of time before refrigeration, what happens? It would result in the continuation of the growth of Clostridium as well as the intoxication. So to limit the growth of Clostridium perfringens, you should make sure that the stews and these chilies, they have been maintained at a temperature of about 145 degree Fahrenheit and during the cooking, and you should refrigerate any leftovers as quickly as possible within at least 2 hours. And previously it was been found that there were certain instances at which spreadable dried tomato paste was being loaded, okay, or that was being infested with or intoxicated with the Clostridium of perfringens toxins. And usually it results in a 24-hour food infection. And Clostridium, it has a very high infectious dose of about 10 to the power of 8 cells and results into abdominal cramps as well as diarrhea, which lasts to about 8 to 22 hours after the process of consumption. In the case of Bacillus cereus, you can see that they can germinate and grow even in the presence as well as the absence of oxygen. It is not a strict anaerobe here, and if they are being allowed to grow, they produce heat-stable Bacillus toxins that cannot be destroyed by routine cooking. So, and the disease which has been associated with it mainly includes diseases involving cooked vegetables, meats, rice as well as the dairy products. So Bacillus cereus, as we know, Bacillus is a spore-forming bacteria which has been commonly found in the soil. It has been quite found everywhere. So if you have a common vegetable, or let it be even a normal vegetable that we have, that's the reason if it has been infested by Bacillus cereus, what happens? You need to wash the vegetable completely and make sure that even now, as a part of precaution of removing pesticides, we might immerse it in some water for some time. And some people also do add some salt to disinfect it. As well as some do add, now in the case of COVID, we also add a bit of soap sometimes to prevent or to rupture the virus. We take such precautions. So the same way here, Bacillus cereus also could be like, even if it is killed, okay, but if it is allowed to grow for a longer time so that the toxin has been formed, the toxin has been found to be heat stable. So you have to make sure that the food or that you take, or let it be the vegetable, meat, rice, or as well as the dairy products, they should not be infested with Bacillus cereus, because it could result in the formation of a heat stable toxin. And they form two types of intoxications, and different that would result in different types of it's mainly been caused by different toxins. And food poisoning following the ingestion of Bacillus cereus contaminated meat, fish or vegetables can cause a diarrheal illness that is very similar to that of Clostridium perfringens. And in the case of Bacillus cereus, it can be found that it is characterized by acute vomiting. What is acute? Something which lasts less than 24 hours is referred to as acute. And what happens? Vomiting which has been associated with, which lasts less than 24 hours has also been found in the case of Bacillus cereus. And you also have a diarrheal illness which is similar to that of Clostridium perfringens. And you can also find sometimes this the vomiting could be associated with contaminated starchy foods such as rice as well as pastries. So I think you can answer this slide right now. If you go to consider food poisoning, you have two different types of infections. Either they can be classified as foodborne infections as well as food intoxications. Foodborne infections are characterized by the presence of microbes, the active microbe participation involved in the foodborne infections, as well as in food intoxication. So you need only the presence of the toxins which have been produced by the bacteria. So I give you this slide as a task so that you can fill it, like which are the foodborne infections. You can just tabulate them as you feel, and you see that there is a common factor which is sharing both the sides. As we told, we have the enterohemorrhagic E. coli O157H7, which is mainly responsible for the gastroenteritic diseases. So thank you for now. Hope so this is clear to you.